Okay, so now we consider the lossy case. So solution in lossy cases. So lossy cases here, as we refer to, is when R and G not equal to 0. So R and G 0 was considered earlier. That was a lossless case, which is a very simple case. So this is our schematic now. So there is a source voltage and the source impedance ZS. This is the transmission line. This represents the transmission line, and the transmission line is connected to a load impedance. And this is, just to stick to our textbook, Z0. This is Z equal to S, and Z axis is in this direction now, which means that from source to load, the direction is minus AZ cap. So that's a slight change which we have brought. Now we consider the transmission line equation and we make the substitution VZT. Again, we assume a complex exponential notation. VZT is VZ e power j omega t. Time variation is sinusoidal. We make this substitution in the transmission line equation, and I take the voltage equation. The current equation is identical. Dou square V dou Z square is equal to, so we can make this substitution and see, is equal to R G V plus j omega R C V plus L G j omega V minus omega square L C V. We can rewrite this as R plus j omega L into G plus j omega C into V, which I will write as Z into Y into V. So Z is this and Y is this. We call Z as the net series impedance for obvious reasons, and similarly Y is called as the net shunt admittance. It is called as the net shunt admittance, and we write this as equal to Zy into V. So dou square V by dou Z square is equal to Zy into V. We write as gamma square into V, small gamma square into V, where gamma is square root of Z into Y, obviously, because gamma square becomes ZY. So gamma is square root of ZY, which I will write as equal to alpha plus J beta. So this will be complex in general, obviously, because Z is a complex quantity, Y is a complex quantity in general. So this will be a complex quantity. So now if you solve this, so here on the left side I have dou square V by dou Z square is equal to gamma square V. If you solve this, obviously the solution for Vz would be V0 e power plus or minus gamma Z, where gamma is equal to square root of R plus j omega L, which is obviously mentioned here, into G plus j omega C, which we can simplify. So what I do is I take j omega L common from this. j omega c common from this. The multiplication of the two will give me minus omega square LC. So that minus omega square LC I'll take out of the square root to get j omega root LC. So what I done is j omega I'm going to take out, j omega c I'm going to take out, the rest of it I'll write down shortly. J omega c into j omega L gives me minus omega square LC. When I take it out of the square root, it becomes j omega root LC. And what remains in the square root, what remains here, once I take this out, will be root of, so j omega L is taken out, I will get 1 plus r by j omega L into root of 1 plus g by j omega c. Now we can make use of the relation 1 plus x raised to 1 by 2, or root of 1 plus x is approximately equal to 1 plus x by 2 when x is much smaller than 1. Now here r is small because the transmission line will be made up of a good conductor. Omega will be reasonably large, and L can be large because you have a long transmission line with two conducting wires placed close together. So basically what is going to happen is this quantity, this magnitude of this can be much smaller than 1, and hence we can use this approximation, which gives us j omega root LC into 1 plus r by j 2 omega L into 1 plus g by j 2 omega c. And when I multiply these two, I will get 4 terms, out of which I will retain only 3 terms. The fourth term, which will be a product of these two, again I will neglect the product of these two because R and G are going to be small. G is the shunt conductance, which will be very small because the dielectric will obviously be of good quality. So G is going to be quite small, R is anyhow small. The product of the two will be even smaller, and in the denominator you are going to have omega square. The signal will be transmitted at a higher frequency. So that makes the fourth term, which is a product between these two, negligible. So I can write this now approximately equal to, so this is actually an approximation to this, and further we can approximate it as j omega root LC. The products will be 1 into 1, then r by j 2 omega L, g by j 2 omega c. Only those terms I am going to write. So 1 by j 2 omega r by L plus g by c. And now I can take this in and I will get 1 by 2 root LC, 1 by 2, because 2j and this j will, I mean j omega and this j omega gets cancelled. You get 1 by 2, I'm sorry, it will be root LC by 2. When I take it in over here, root LC by 2 R by L plus G by C. That is this into this plus j omega root LC. So this is alpha, this is beta. Okay, so our solution of the transmission line equation for a lossy case, of course, under the approximation that R and G are very small compared to omega L and omega C, is complete. And our result is that we get gamma as equal to root LC by 2 R by L plus G by C plus j omega root LC, as was shown just now. Now we proceed further and arrive at certain other parameters of a transmission line. Now in general, what happens is Vz, though the solution for Vz was seen to be V naught e power plus or minus gamma z, in general the relation will be, the solution can be V plus e power gamma z plus V minus e power minus gamma z, where this will be towards the load. So this is from source to load, the so-called forward propagating and this will be towards source. So this is getting reflected. You can change, take a look at the numerical sign here. Plus gamma z is taken as towards the load, because if you see the figure here, we have considered the schematic like this. Z is in this direction and signal forward, the so-called forward from source to load is propagating in the negative Z direction, and hence this change in the numerical sign. So this is what the voltage, the potential on the transmission line will be in general. There will be one towards the load, which we will call as forward propagating here onwards, because it is from source to load. The other one is towards the source. It is from load to source. This is the one which propagates in the backward direction. Possibly it is the reason, it is this has originated due to a reflection from the load, possibly. Similarly, though we have arrived this, as I said in the beginning, the equation, the differential equation, the transmission line equation for current is exactly the same, which means that similarly Iz, maybe I'll write here, Iz can be shown to be I plus e power gamma z plus I minus e power minus gamma z. So V plus and V minus are the amplitudes of the forward and the backward propagating voltages. Similarly, I plus and I minus are the forward and backward propagating current magnitudes. So once we have this, we substitute this in the transmission line in equation 1. The equation 1 was, I will just write it down again for quick reference. It was, equation 1 was this: dou V by dou Z equal to I R plus L di by dt. That was equation 1 for your information. Now we substitute these solutions in equation 1 and we end up getting, left hand side is just a differentiation of this with respect to Z. That is V plus gamma e power gamma Z minus V minus gamma e power minus gamma Z equal to, now since we are using phasor notation, there is an e power j omega t which is not written here, because what is written here is only the function of Z. So there is a phasor, there is an e power j omega t term which is also present. So when you introduce it here, this along with that current time variation, sinusoidal time variation, when you introduce it here, the result will be R plus j omega L I plus e power omega Z plus I minus e power minus gamma Z. It is gamma, not omega. So this is Z, because earlier we saw that this was, we call this as Z, the net series impedance, I plus e power gamma Z plus Z I minus e power minus gamma Z. Now if we compare the coefficients of e power gamma Z and e power minus gamma Z on both sides, they have to be the same. So if you compare them, you get a result like V plus gamma is equal to Z I plus, which means that V plus divided by I plus equal to, so this is actually a ratio of magnitude of the amplitude of the forward propagating voltage divided by the amplitude of the forward propagating current, which results in Z by gamma, which is Z by root Zy, because gamma is Zy. Again, it was that is what gamma is. We discussed it a short while ago. So Z and this root Z gets cancelled and you get this. Now this is actually an impedance. We denote it as Z0 and it is called as the characteristic. It is the characteristic impedance of the transmission line. characteristic impedance of transmission line Z0 is equal to root ZY, and this is the way it is defined. Now when you compare the coefficients of e power minus gamma Z, V minus of V minus gamma is equal to Z I minus. And again we see that minus V minus by I minus is equal to Z by gamma, which becomes Z0. So Z0 is also defined in this way. So they are the same basically. Right, now what we do is we will try to find out the impedance. In general, what is the impedance? Because we have Vz with us, we have Iz. So I'll just divide Vz by Iz. This will give me the impedance at any point on the line, at any particular value of Z, because all I am doing is I am just dividing Vz by Iz. I'll get some impedance, right? Now that will be equal to, we have expressions for Vz and Iz. So Vz expression is V plus gamma e power gamma Z minus V minus gamma e power minus gamma Z divided by I expression is here, Z I plus e power gamma Z plus Z I, sorry, this is the differentiated version, so I should have actually written only this. So that's a small mistake I made, so I'll just strike it off and write it here. So I wrote this by mistake. So what I have to write here is I plus e power gamma Z plus I minus e power minus gamma Z. So now we will manipulate this. What we do is we will divide the numerator as well as denominator with V plus e power gamma Z. We'll just again I think I have made a mistake, so I'll just strike, because this is not what should be appearing here. What should be appearing here is this. So I will just strike this off completely and I'll write separate instead of overwriting and cramming it, spoiling it. So Vz expression I have, it is V plus e power gamma Z. The gamma I wrote here earlier by mistake, minus V minus e power minus gamma Z, it is plus V minus e power minus gamma Z divided by I plus e power gamma Z plus I minus e power minus gamma Z. It's a simple thing. I just wrote the wrong terms. So now what we do is we will divide both numerator and denominator with V plus e power gamma Z. So we'll just divide both the numerator and denominator with V plus e power gamma Z. So when I do that, I get 1 V plus e power gamma Z divided by V plus e power gamma Z is 1 plus V minus by V plus e power minus 2 gamma Z. So this is the result of dividing both the terms in the numerator with V plus e power gamma Z. Similarly, I have to divide both the terms in the denominator with the same to maintain the ratio. So I will get I plus divided by V plus. These two will get cancelled when I divide, plus I minus e power minus 2 gamma Z by V plus. So I write this now as equal to 1 plus, if you note, V minus by V minus by V plus. V minus is the amplitude of reflected field, reflected voltage, and V plus is the amplitude of the forward propagating voltage. So V plus is magnitude of the voltage from source to load, and V minus is from load to source. So this ratio is actually nothing but the reflection coefficient. So if V minus is 0, there is no reflection, the reflection coefficient becomes 0. So this ratio is actually the reflection coefficient. So I'll write it as gamma, capital gamma here onwards, that is the reflection coefficient, e power minus 2 gamma Z divided by, now V plus by I plus was shown to be the characteristic impedance. V plus by I plus was shown to be, so here it is. V plus by I plus is the characteristic impedance. So I'll make that substitution here. So I will end up getting 1 by Z naught. Similarly, this I will just rewrite, this term I will rewrite I minus divided by V plus. I will put a V minus here and I'll put a V minus here to cancel it off. Now this will be reflection coefficient and this will be 1 by minus Z naught, because minus Vi by I minus V minus by I minus is Z naught. So V minus by I minus has to be minus 1 minus Z naught. So we can write this as minus, so this becomes capital gamma divided by Z naught, because V minus by I minus is Z naught, minus Z naught, and e power minus 2 gamma Z. So that now becomes Z naught 1 plus gamma e power minus 2 gamma Z divided by 1 minus gamma e power minus 2 gamma Z. Now what happens at Z equal to 0? So if I take Z as equal to 0, so right here, if Z equal to 0, when Z is equal to 0, as per the figure that we have over here, when Z is equal to 0, you are exactly at the load. So when Z is equal to 0, Vz by Iz has to be the load impedance, ZL. So if Z is equal to 0, Vz by Iz is equal to ZL. So this becomes at Z equal to 0, Z equal to 0, this is nothing but Vz by Iz. So at Z equal to 0, it becomes Z naught 1 plus gamma divided by 1 minus gamma. Z is substituted as 0, and that is equal to ZL. Now if we manipulate this, if you manipulate this easily, you can show that, if you manipulate it, you can show that the standing wave ratio is equal to, you can easily manipulate it and show that the standing wave ratio is equal to, not the standing wave ratio, the reflection coefficient. I'm sorry, I used that term too early. The reflection coefficient will be ZL minus Z naught divided by ZL plus Z naught, which in general will be a complex quantity, and we can write it like this because ZL can be complex and Z0 can also be complex. So in general, the reflection coefficient will be a complex quantity. We can write like this. So that is another important thing that we learn from this analysis, the relation between the reflection coefficient and the characteristic impedance. Now there is something called as the voltage standing wave ratio. Voltage standing wave ratio. So I have written it in short form, voltage standing wave ratio. Now we know that Vz is equal to, there will be a forward propagating and a reflected voltage in general. So V plus e power gamma Z plus V minus e power minus gamma Z. We can write it as V plus e power gamma Z plus gamma, because V minus by V plus is gamma. V plus e power minus gamma Z. Since I put the magnitude here, I will put minus 5 here. So I absorb the phase part here. Now if you take a look at this, this is something very, very similar to what we encountered when we discussed standing wave ratio in the context of uniform plane waves. So I want you to go through the same steps which we went through, because it's identical, exactly the same. I want you to go through the same steps here and arrive at this expression for the voltage standing wave ratio, which is nothing but 1 plus magnitude capital gamma divided by 1 minus magnitude capital gamma. So this is work for you. This relation is very, very similar to what we came across before we derived a standing wave ratio there, we came across an expression like this, which is exactly like this, except for this V plus and certain other terms here. So you go through the same steps, you will arrive at this result, which is left to you as an exercise. So that is the voltage standing wave ratio.